Hello, today we will be talking about the recruiting email triggers. So I am in Admin Center. To configure the recruiting triggers, we have two options as usual. So either we look for the page in the tool search, so we can type triggers and then the system will show you the option that matches that, recruiting email triggers, or you can also click here in the recruiting option, and then you can come to recruiting email triggers and click on this one. This will open the page for you, and this is where you can make the configurations. So the recruiting triggers are used to define which emails are sent automatically at various points in the recruiting process. So you would use these triggers to specify exactly when the system should send out emails to candidates or to recruiting users. By clicking on any of the triggers, so see here that I have a list of all the triggers that exist for recruiting. Scrolling all the way down, we can see the full list. By clicking in any of these triggers, you'll see that a new window will open here to your right where you can enable or disable the trigger. You can select an email template if the trigger is enabled. You can see the system specified recipients. You can specify additional recipients, and you can view the CC or BCC users specified on that recruiting email template. So the recruiting triggers works together with the recruiting email template. So first you need to create the email template in the Manage Recruiting Email Templates in Admin, and then you are going to associate that template to the trigger. So let's take a look at this one, and I will highlight exactly what kind of information we have here and what are the steps that we need to take. So here at the top, I have my trigger name, applicant submitted to new requisition by agency. Then I have the trigger point. So the trigger point will describe the condition in the recruiting process that will trigger the email to be sent out to, again, either candidates or recruiting users. Then we have here the enable checkbox. Right now, this one is not enabled. This trigger is not enabled. I need to check the box if I want to enable this one. And then I have here the category. So this is the agency category. I can see the supported tokens. I can select the email template. So again, you would have to first create the email template, and then you are going to select the email template that you would like to use in this trigger. You can also, let's say, let's pick this one. You can also use this preview email to preview the text that will be sent out. And then we have the recipients section here. So for this one, nothing is specified. So you can come here and you can click in the specify recipients to pick the recipients for this one. So we have three options. So by role on the requisition, by employee name, or by email address. So you can just pick the option that you would want, either this one. And then again, if there are any CC or BCC users configured for that email template, they will be also available here. So then again, if you need to, or if you would like to enable a trigger, you just need to make sure that the box is checked here, and then you would click here in the Save button to save your changes. From that point forward, when this trigger point is happens, then this email will be sent out to the users. If for any reason you need to cancel and discard your changes, you can just simply click here in the Cancel button. The system will ask you to confirm that you are canceling the operation, and that the changes that you made will be discarded. So you can just click here, yes or no, to continue. So talking a little bit about the triggers that we have here, as you can see, I have a whole list of triggers. I have several categories. So I have agency, I have application, candidate, career, interview, offer, requisition. The categories and the triggers, so the categories and the triggers that you see here are offered by the product. These are the standard triggers. We don't have the possibility to create any additional triggers. This is the list that is offered and that is supported by the product. However, you can definitely use them or not according to your process. So if, for example, you are not using interviews, you are not using interview scheduling within SuccessFactors recruiting, you wouldn't enable the triggers for the interview category. Same if you are not using the offer functionality, you wouldn't use the triggers for the offer. So this will really depend on the configuration and on the recruiting processes of your company. But then again, this is what we offer, and you can definitely use them or not according to your needs. So let's just pick this one as an example. I am going to enable this one, and I will talk a little bit about the validate standard tokens option that I have here. So each email trigger supports different standard tokens. So while you are configuring an email template and associating that email template to a trigger, we want to make sure that we are using tokens that are supported for that email and for that trigger. Otherwise, obviously, if the candidate or the recruiting user receives that email and the token is not supported for that notification, then the token wouldn't be resolved and the value would not appear in the email. So when you include unsupported standard tokens in the template, a validation is going to appear, or a validation is going to be done to make sure that you are using or to alert you that you are not using supported tokens for that one. So let's say that, let me pick this one here again. So let's say these are the tokens that I am using in this specific notification. When I click here and validate standard tokens, the system will do a validation by the tokens that I am using in this email template, and the system will tell me if I am using tokens that are supported or not. If the tokens that I'm using are not supported for this particular template and trigger, then I have the possibility to just go into the email template and add it to template to make sure that I'm adding supported tokens. So let me just click here. Okay, so this is a great example. As you can see here, I have this little icon here, invalid tokens configured in the email template. So when I click here, I can see that these tokens are not applicable for the selected trigger. So what I need to make sure is that I go into the manage templates for recruiting, and I added the template that I am using here to make sure that I am adding tokens that are supported. One thing that you can also do to help you with this is see this little supported tokens section here. So when you click here, then you can see the tokens that are supported for this particular trigger. So this is very helpful when you are creating your email and when you are associating that email to your trigger. You can just come here and see exactly what tokens are supported in this particular trigger. So always make sure that you are validating your tokens, that you are using tokens that are supported, and that you are removing any tokens that you have previously added if they are not supported for a particular trigger. And then again, you can make your changes, you can save your changes, and then you can just enable the trigger and make sure that you are using an email template that has all the supported tokens for that particular trigger. And this is how you can configure triggers. So make sure that you open each one of these triggers. Let me just cancel this. make sure that you open each one of the triggers so you can read the trigger point here on the right hand side, and you can decide if you would like to use the trigger or not for your recruiting instance according to your business processes.